Gaius,
Good morning, Matthew.
does not look like a good morning. Are you unwell?
It's just work. I'm fine, Matthew.
You have some talents, Gaius,
Thank you.
but you are not an effective liar. It is clear you're not fine. Is your family in trouble?
What do you know about families? Look, I am glad that you have people now. But, home is, complicated. I'm helpless.
You're right, Gaius. I don't know families very well. And I complicate everything.
Don't say that.
But my teacher, he makes life very simple. Every morning I wake up, my ideas and fears are jumbled. I feel overwhelmed with doubt and regret.
Yes.
But if I just pause for a moment and remember,
What? Remember what?
I have only one thing to do today. Follow him. The rest takes care of itself.
The Burrows of Berea podcast.
Well, welcome back to the Burrows of Berea. Guys, I have a very special guest. I have wanted to speak to this man for pretty much since the resurrection of Gavin Stone. And we'll get into that much later. I have with me today, excuse me, and I am so thrilled to be joined by accomplished actor Kirk B.R. Waller, whose remarkably varied and enduring career spans over 170 film and television appearances. He's a classically trained performer with an MFA and years under the legendary Sanford Meisner. Kirk has brought unforgettable characters to life, from his recurring role in one of my favorite roles as Agent Gene Crane on The X-Files to his powerful portrayal of Gaius in The Chosen, where his character's journey of authority, conflict, and faith deeply resonates. Today, we'll explore his path into acting, how he approaches roles grounded in both craft and conviction, and dive into Gaius's compelling story, the internal transformation of a Roman official encountering grace and truth. So welcome, Kirk B.R. Waller, to the Burrows. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And as I said a moment ago, that was so beautifully written. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, you have a remarkable career, and I wanted to thank executive producer Chris June for helping introduce me to you. He's such a kind man, and
Oh,
when we talked, I could have talked to Chris for hours and hours. What a fascinating man. So
yeah,
fun.
he's such a good guy. I mean, he's been there since the beginning too. He's
Yes.
just a genuinely good human being. And he was really lovely to my son too, who's just turned 18 a few days ago and is studying physics.
Oh,
Yeah, perhaps nuclear physics, but my son was into weather and he had some really great photographs of some lightning and stuff. And anyway, he's just a very lovely man and cares about
yes.
everybody and their kids. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. One of my really good friends, Eric Auger, is in Fort Worth, Texas, and they happen to know one another. And so I got introduced, and I was so surprised and happy that he was willing to come on this podcast with me and so gracious. And then I bugged him and I was like, look, I need to talk to my favorite. And he's like, who is that? And I was like, Kirk Waller. I was like, I got to talk
Oh,
to this guy. He's Agent Gene Crane from the X-Files. I'm a big X-Files nut, and you were on season 8, and your character was tragically taken from us, but we don't know. We don't know how you were taken exactly.
that's right. Or if he was really taken at all. It could all
Yeah,
be
yeah,
an
or was
illusion. It is
he?
the X-Files, right?
You're exactly right. Where did Mulder and Scully put you? But yeah, so thank you so much for being on here with me. And before we get
Sure.
into
Pleasure.
Gaius,
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, really. Thank you. Thank you for
yeah,
having me.
Thank you. Yeah, it's such a wonderful thing. And before I do want to talk to you a lot about The Chosen and Gaius for sure, but I'm when I was looking at the history of your career and how far it spans back, I wanted to ask you, what made you decide to get into acting?
Mm, that's a really cool question. Well, and I do know this. It started when I was in third grade.
Mm.
I don't know why. Mrs. Chase, still remember her name, made me the lead of the classroom. She wanted to do a play,
Oh, wow.
and she made me Captain John Smith. And I memorized the lines, and then I we did it. We only did it one time, but I was so into it. And I remember it was the first time that, other than mom and dad, kids came, hey, you're pretty good at that.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, thank you. And I remember at one point they were lifting the anchor or something, and you know those little school rings that
Yeah.
bind people. And they were she was narrating it, and I saw those things, and I started making chain noises, and none of that was planned. So I just found myself getting totally into it. So that's where it started. But my parents are from Germany,
Oh, okay.
and a career as an actor was not the best for German immigrants.
Hmm.
So I left it behind and got my undergraduate degree in business and marketing. I
Mm.
was the class president of my business school. I started a radio program and a television show and won all these service awards. Had a job offer with Clorox, selling bleach out of college because I was a marketing major and a psychology minor. And I just dropped it all and I moved back to Seattle, where I'm from, and I started over to pursue the career I've always wanted, and that was as an actor. So that's where it began.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, so you got the bug as a kid and it's stuck.
Yeah, we went shortly after I did that. My parents took us to Universal Studios. We lived in Seattle, and my mom loved to travel. Took us to Universal Studios in Los Angeles, and man, that left such an impact because I saw the sound stages. I saw where they filmed Psycho, and they had the Stuntman show, and I don't know, it sealed the deal for me. And then
Mm.
years later, of course, working on that lot with Spielberg and other folks just was like a really cool full circle moment. So
Yeah, I mean that's the other side of this. I mean, you've worked with Spielberg and Eastwood, Clint Eastwood. So, I
yes,
mean, it's so there's so many to it's so numerous. And I was
thank
like,
you,
my goodness, what a career. What a
thank
career.
you. I don't often
And you're
think
just
about
getting
it.
started, just like Jesus says in The Chosen. We're just getting started.
Yeah, the funny thing, Rick, about a career as an actor is I'm never going to retire.
Hmm.
Like, what the heck would
Exactly.
I do? I'm not a
Right.
I'm not a sit around kind of guy. Acting is the kind of thing, God willing, and you are offered roles or audition and get roles that you could do for the rest of your life. Just the characters just get a little bit older. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah, sure.
So you can do it forever. So I'm going to keep doing this until I can't walk, talk, or anything.
Right, right. Yeah, and your career spans, I mean, you're a dramatic actor, you're a comedic actor. If anybody goes to your website, Actor Class, you can, and we'll talk about that towards the end. I want to talk about that. I'm fascinated.
Thank
But
you.
you also have your, what is that third section? It's like your, it's like the villain, but not the villain. I forget what it's called.
Nemesis.
Nemesis. Yeah, the Nemesis
Yes.
section. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was all over your website just looking at that and seeing all those
Oh,
pictures and I was like, "Oh my goodness, like I remember you being in that. I remember you being in that and you've been in so many things. It's just
yeah,
incredible."
I've been very, very blessed and also work really hard, but I'm very blessed. And
Hmm.
it's a combination of blessings and hard work. The harder you work,
Sure.
the luckier you get.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just it. It's all about our practice and putting forth that effort and, that's I gotta ask you this question just because you've worked with director, producer Dallas Jenkins even before The Chosen. It went all the way back, what, 20 years ago or more?
25,
25 years ago. Yeah.
19, 1999, 2000. Yeah, the quick backstory on that is a friend of mine recommended the book Left Behind.
Mm-hmm.
That was written by Jerry Jenkins. So I read the
Yes.
book, loved it. Later, the same friend, hey, they're turning it into a movie. You should play Nikolai Carpathia.
Mm.
And I said, but that's the Antichrist character. And she's like, yeah, I played a lot of bad guys in my career. And I was like, okay, cool. So I found the production company in
Mm-hmm.
Louisville, Kentucky. I sent a picture, a resume, and a reel. You know, the reel has little clips from the best stuff you have so far. 3 days later, I got a call from a guy named Dallas Jenkins.
Ah.
And I was like, Dallas, sure enough, he's the son of Jerry,
Mm-hmm.
fresh out of college, eye on the prize of making a living as a writer and a director.
Mm-hmm.
And he and his dad were huge NYPD Blue fans, and I killed Andy Sipowicz Jr. And so the scene where I get gunned down by Jimmy Schmitz was on the reel. So they were just excited. Somebody from Hollywood was interested, but I was excited because the reason I reached out to them is I was just wanted to do content that might have an impact on somebody's life, a positive impact.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
what they were doing was great. And I said, in the letter, I said, I'd love to be a part of what you're doing. That's where our friendship began. And he eventually moved out to Los Angeles. And yeah, so we've been friends and I've been in everything he's ever made. Started
Yes.
off with Hometown Legend. He didn't even direct it, he produced it. The first thing he directed was a short film called Cliche. And
Mm.
anyway, I've just ups and downs and all around. I saw all the kids be born. I babysat the kids, and now they're all getting married. It's a trip. But yeah,
Isn't that wild?
I
Wow.
love Dallas and Amanda. Sorry if I'm interrupting. I just want to say I love those two. They're the kindest, most decent, real, honorable human beings and loyal that I think I will ever know in my
Mm.
life. They're
Wow.
extraordinary human beings. And I'm not just saying that.
No, I
So
believe you.
this whole chosen thing for me is so personal.
Mm.
Yeah, it's so personal because I know what they've been through. And so their success is the coolest part of this for me
Mm-hmm.
because these people have worked hard and no one texts me back faster than Dallas. And the guy's
Wow.
writing a script, editing season 6, doing the guy never sleeps basically, but he's just so quick. He's on it. You know what I mean? He's just one of
Yes.
those guys that's just all over it with
Yes.
integrity and love. And it's inspiring to watch.
Well, I can tell you that I've never met him, but he just exudes this on screen that he cares
Oh
about
man.
everyone. He cares about his audience. He cares about his cast. He cares about his family. He cares about the Lord. He's got all this. He's showing everyone this wonderful kindness. And
I think I think it's also important. He's very fair,
yeah, okay.
which is a very interesting trait this day and age.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? He's
Sure.
fair. He's very kind, but he's fair with his assessments of things. So anyway,
Hmm.
I'm sorry if I interrupted, but yeah, he's just a very fair human being and has become such an amazing orator. When we first started, he wanted advice. Hey, how do I direct actors? That's where it started because he wanted to
Wow.
direct. And he knew that I trained with Sanford Meisner, and he said, "So, what advice can you give me?" So that's where it started. And he's like far surpassed anything I had to say. He's so
Mm.
good. He's a
Yes.
actor's director.
You know what? I remember back before when the Chosen was just getting started, I remember just watching his videos when he was crowdfunding.
Yeah,
And I mean, really, I mean, he made a believer out of me. Like I just remember I was like, this man has vision and he's going to get this done. And so, me and my family, we got on board. This was before Come and See Foundation or any of that started. This was just in the crowdfunding stage. And his desire to want to have this in all 600 languages, I believe it is what they're going after.
yeah, and I got a little story about that too. But yeah, 600. But we just won. He had a post a Guinness World Book record
Yes, he did.
for the most translated television show of all time or something. And I think it was like 400. I'm losing track, but yeah,
Yeah,
we want 600.
it's remarkable. It's remarkable what
Yeah,
they're doing.
it's
You guys actually just won a Dove Award, I think.
Oh, I saw that. It's hard to keep up with all this beauty, and
Yeah.
I'm not on social media that much anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, we won it. What
The
was the
best
award?
series. The best series.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. And so I have
Wow.
a friend named Steve Shermett who played Rabbi Josiah.
I
He's
know Steve.
yeah, Steve and I go way back. He's been on the program and talked with us. And I saw that post on Facebook. He had said, he showed the picture of how you guys had won. I was like, this is awesome. You guys are just,
Wow.
yeah, absolutely amazing. I also have another friend. I think you may have been in a scene together. I'm not sure. I went to high school with Turhan Troy Kalak, who plays Alpheus, which is the father of Matthew in the series. And I think you see him in season 2 mainly. But I went to high school with him here in Western North Carolina. And then
Wow.
he went to the Tisch School of the Arts, and then he ended up moving out to LA. He's in LA now.
So he's Matthew's dad.
Yeah, Alpheus, I think is the main
I
character.
had one scene with them when Gaius comes to give the key to his parents.
Yes, that's
It's a
it. That
scene where I
scene.
say, burn it down. It's like, no, don't burn it down. And so, yeah, it was that scene. Nice guy and really
Yeah.
great. And I just wanted to thank you for supporting us in the very beginning when everyone was looking at us like we were potentially crazy. So thank you
Yeah.
for your love and support. Was that 2018 or
Yeah.
2019?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I think it was 18. I think it might have been
2018.
2019. Yeah. This is back when
And
Angel Studios and all this it was really
right.
just getting started.
We did the first 4 episodes, I believe, at the end of 2019.
Yeah, I think you're
Uh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
My
thank you for
brain
your
doesn't
support.
work.
You and me both, man.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, and I will say before I forget, I'm wearing this shirt. This is what Matthew said to you, your character,
Yeah.
Gaius, in the show. And I love that scene because Paris Patel, what a consummate professional. My goodness. And he really sells that character and about how complicated things can be and how simple Jesus had made, for him. I have one thing, only one thing to do today. Follow him. And I love that
Oh,
scene. And it's because honestly, Kirk, it's because of you. The way that you play the role of Gaius. Let's just get into Gaius. I'm really
right on,
excited.
right on. Let's go.
You you really begin there that sign of authority and you were there for Matthew and you play that role. It really is a complex role that you're playing because you have this authority, but you develop over time this care for this quirky guy who, and you begin to love him over time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was I was fortunate enough to be at the chosen retreat the weekend before last, and the it was interesting because I auditioned. Done everything Dallas has ever made now, for over 25 years. But I had to audition because Angel Studios was a part of it. And I remember when I read it, I was like, "Oh, Matthew's on the autistic spectrum, or he might have Asperger's." I'm like, "Oh, that's very interesting." And the first person I thought of was my son's friend, August, who's on the autistic spectrum.
Hmm.
And I it just so I brought my sensibilities immediately to that because when I asked Dallas before we started filming, I said, "So how would you describe Gaius?" And he goes, "Well, he's basically a Nazi." I'm
Yeah, there you
like,
go.
I'm like, "What? A Nazi? Isn't that a bit extreme?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay." So these things are a co-creation
Hmm.
between the writing, the the direction, and the actors. And so I understood what he meant, and I also wanted to bring look, if you work with a guy 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you just can't be a jerk to him all the time. Life just doesn't work that way.
That's
You're
right.
going to have a relationship. So I brought that, call it emotional intelligence to it, and also my sensitivity to those with autism, and just kind of tried to blend them together
Hmm.
and bring my sensibilities to that situation. And so I think that's what you see is like that combination of having to be the authoritarian Roman, but at the same
Yes.
time, I'm a human being, he's a human being. We're standing next to each other all day. He's
Hmm.
really good at what he does. I don't like math. I don't like
Right.
sitting and all that. So I have respect for him, just as a human.
Yes. And it shows. You also are very Roman. You definitely you sell that very, you are a Roman centurion.
Yes.
It is your job and you're going to do it. And because you hold that so rock solid, to me it helps the story. We really need to know this was an occupied country. These people were treated with some semblance of respect. They allowed them to have their religious beliefs, but they were also very clear that they were in charge. And you really
You
sell
know,
that.
yeah, well, thank you. It's interesting though, too. As an actor, you never want to judge the character you're playing.
Right.
So we can't, because no one, and I mean no one on the planet thinks they're a bad person.
Sure. That makes sense.
Nobody, even Hitler
Right.
or any Eva Peron. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like nobody thinks they're a bad person. Everybody has a justified reason for why they're doing what they're doing. So I didn't want to vilify the Romans because that doesn't make sense because it's not
Hmm.
true. In fact, if you dumb down your antagonist villain, it detracts from the victor.
Hmm.
Because when you've got a good antagonist that you like, that you can connect to, then when the victor wins, it's all that much sweeter. But if you can dismiss the antagonist as a stereotype or a, mustache twisting thing, it's dismissible and it's just not as strong or good. So yeah, so Rome did a lot. I mean, roads, infrastructure, medicine, architecture, clean water. I mean,
Right.
yes, they occupied. I'm not saying they were perfect, but they didn't just come in and rape and pillage, they
Right. Right.
contributed to the society. Yes, we occupied in exchange for other things too. So it's never black and white.
Yes, I was just sorry. I was trying to remember Brandon Potter, his name, who played Quintus. I wanted to ask you about that because with what you're saying in regard to this, like the Roman character, Brandon Potter really like he comes out on the screen just it's just immediate. Like he almost feels like a Heinrich Himmler kind of a character. He's a little
Yeah.
kind of a loose cannon, but very stern, but also quirky, you know?
Yeah. Brandon is so good. I could never do what he does. Or I could, but I have to work at it really hard. He can take 3 pages of dialogue and make it sound like a sentence.
Hmm.
His ability to give that information and just be alive with huge passages of dialogue is a skill and a
Yeah.
talent. And he's so good at that and so charming and complicated too. But yeah, kudos to Brandon. He's a really great guy on top of it. Fine actor, classically trained like myself. And so
Hmm.
he knows what he's doing. It's awesome to watch.
And that I think that's one of the things that I appreciated about the show so early. What I think that Dallas Jenkins got right was that he was very I don't know if he did the casting or if he had a casting director,
Well,
but
he has a casting director, but it's he and Amanda, his wife, have
okay.
always traditionally, even up till this day, she's
Hmm.
a part of casting. They're so smart the way they cast because they cast not only talented actors, but good people.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
why the set is a Dallas Jenkins set. And I'm not just saying this. I've been on many in my career, but his sets are always the nicest. That shit, people respect each other, great stories, good people in a healthy environment. That's a Dallas Jenkins set. And that's hard to come by. And
Yeah,
so, yeah,
sure.
he's really smart when he casts, and they do it together, those two. She's a huge part of The Chosen.
Well, brilliant, brilliant casting because each one of those characters, you all are so great. And I think the thing that I loved about the show immediately was the human factor, especially about Jesus, the humanity side of him. We're used to a lot of the, um, shall I say, over Christianized. I don't mean it in a negative way. It's just sometimes it's very pious and
Yeah.
so high Christological that we kind of miss the human side of him. Telling a joke, for example, too soon, like to say for Jesus to say that. But I love it because it
Yeah.
just his these characters resound, they're us. They
Yeah.
literally are like us. And that's what I love about that.
Yeah, that was his idea when he did The Shepherd. It was Jesus from the point of view of those that surrounded him. And
Hmm.
yeah, brought it back down to a human level, uh, that we're human beings, we're flawed, we have conversations, we are human. And Dallas has always
Hmm.
been that way with his characters and his interpretation. But yeah, it just took him down from the stained glass windows, took him out of the Bible and all this fancy language. Sometimes it's hard to understand, and just made everybody human beings and
Hmm.
relatable. And they have flaws and they have good days and bad days. So yeah, that's really, I think, the genius of the show is it just, and it's entertaining and it's
Hmm.
beautifully written. Akis does an amazing job with the DP and Leila with the costumes and James Cunningham with the production design. I mean, these people are a game and make it just a whole world. And it's not, it's entertaining. Even if you
Yes.
even if you've never read the Bible, you can watch it and go, oh, this is interesting. It's cool.
Yeah. And wouldn't you say you've been in Hollywood for what, 40 plus years? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Would you say that what they've been able to do with the budgets that they've been given to use, would you not say that what they're doing is absolutely remarkable?
The Chosen.
Yes, The Chosen.
Oh, yeah. Again, Dallas and I were making things together and hardly everyone noticed. And he thought his career was over after Gavin Stone. So we were all very, not surprised. Well, you work hard. He's been working hard he's like a 25-year overnight sensation. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's
Yes.
like this guy just gets up every day to perfect what he does, much the same I do as an actor, writing and directing. So, but yeah, you can't predict this stuff, but yes, it's extraordinary what I think it's also created beyond The Chosen,
Hmm.
with other productions and given rise to just better content. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't even have to be about Jesus, but shows that have good morals, good values, good
Hmm.
ethics is like we just need more of that, in my opinion.
I
That's
agree.
just my mom called it murder and mayhem.
Hmm.
There's enough murder and mayhem out there, so this kind of content is just extraordinary. So yeah, and then I don't know if you're aware, we have 4 or 5 spin-off shows. There is
Yes.
Joseph of Egypt, which is filming right now. There's going to be the Book of Moses, and then the Book of Acts, which is going to be called The Way.
Hmm.
And then The Chosen Adventures, which just came out on Amazon Prime. It's an animated series for kids and adults.
Yes.
So, like, this universe is just so, yes, it's extraordinary. It's an absolute privilege and a blessing to be a part of that journey and ride. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
I couldn't be more happy for you and all of the cast and the staff and everyone and what this has turned into. And I will say this to you. The Chosen literally got my wife and I into the movie theaters. We stopped going to movie theaters just
Yeah,
because of you never know what you're going to get when you go in there,
you
but
and
you
me both.
do, right? But you do when you come to a Dallas Jenkins production, or whether he's directing or he's producing it, like in The Chosen, but also in the film that you're in, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, which, by the
Yeah.
way, was a favorite of mine when I was a kid. I watched the old version and I loved that show. We used to watch it every year at Christmas. And I'll never forget whenever Imogene was, I'll put the pussy willow down in your ear. I remember as a kid, I never forget that. And then to see that Dallas Jenkins was bringing this back, directing this film, and you were the Reverend in that.
Reverend Hopkins. But you know the story behind that?
No, I'd love to
Dallas,
hear it.
okay, 15 years ago, 15 to 16 years ago, he and his wife, I'll make it short, but they didn't have a lot of money at the time, and so Amanda brought the kids to Pottery Barn just to look around, and there was this little book on the shelf, and it said the best Christmas pageant ever. So they took it home, they sat the kids down, and they started reading it. And Dallas just was crying, and he just couldn't read anymore. He handed it to Amanda. Amanda started reading it, and then she started crying, and the kids are like, like, what the heck is going on? Uh, so it touched him very deeply. And God bless Dell, he found out who had the rights, and he like cold called somebody in Hollywood. Hey, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I need to direct this film. And like, can you imagine? Who are you, kid?
Yeah, who are
Like,
you?
who are you? What's your name? Huh? What have you done? Nothing?
Wow.
Well, okay. Well, congratulations. So he's been trying to get the rights for 15 years. And he was praying about it. It got close to maybe happening once, didn't happen. That guy put it in his phone. He's been praying weekly to get the rights for the last 15 years. And then he
Wow.
got the rights.
Can you believe it?
So is that the power of prayer and
Yes.
working your butt off? I don't know what is, but I wish I would have had that phone call that he made to whatever exec that was.
Right?
But
Right.
he had the gumption to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. You
So
sometimes you
hero.
just got to go out. You got to go for it. You got to go for it. And by the
Yeah.
way, I just got to tell you, if I didn't, I wouldn't be talking to you today. That's what this is for me. Okay. So I reached out.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on here. It means a lot
Oh,
too.
of course. No, it's really a blessing. And again, like nothing has been handed to Dallas.
Hmm.
15 years he prayed to get the rights to that film.
Yes. Hmm.
And it all came together after, success of The Chosen, the rights became available, and
Yes.
yeah, and so it all worked out. And yeah, I played
And
Reverend Hopkins. That was a blast. It was
it
really
was
great fun.
fantastic. You did great in that film.
Thank you.
And honestly, um, my wife and I, we know if Dallas Jenkins is going to put something out, we're going to go support it in the theater. And so last
Thank you.
Christmas, we went to go watch that, and we wept in the theater. It was a precious, precious movie. If people haven't seen it, you've got to watch it this Christmas. We bought it on our online Voodoo or Fandango account. We have it, so we'll watch it every year. And but it truly it's a wonderful story about love and giving, especially to a family that they were really, suffering. And it's just it's a precious, precious movie. So I hope you guys will go see it and see Kirk B.R. Waller in it. You do a great job as Reverend Hopkins. And I
Thank you.
remember the original had Loretta Swit in it. I don't know if
I never
remember.
saw it.
You never
Wow.
did.
No.
Yeah, Loretta Swit played the mother in the original. And it was yeah,
Hot
it
Lips
was
Houlihan.
Hot Lips Houlihan. Yeah, she played the main character in that, and then I just remember they used to play it on television, every year, and we would watch it. And so the fact that we saw that Dallas was coming out, that I was like, I can't believe it's one of my all-time favorites. So I'm so glad that he did it, and he, you know, kept making that call.
Yeah, no, he prayed about it. He was, like a very respectful squeaky wheel.
Yeah. Well, if it's okay, I want to get back to Gaius for a little bit. I want to talk to
Yes,
you a few
please,
more minutes about
absolutely.
that, and then I gotta talk to you about actor class. I want to get into that for sure,
Okay.
and the Waller technique, right?
Oh yeah, how pretentious is that?
It's not pretentious.
Yeah, I'll have to
It-
tell you the story behind it. I
I
still think
mean,
it's a pretentious name.
you
But
were under
anyway,
Sanford Meisner. Sanford Meisner is what you trained under. If you know something and you teach something, you obviously have something that's working well. You're doing well in your career. 170 plus episodes. I mean, come on, that's incredible.
thank
So
you.
there's plenty of people that want to learn from you. But so back to Gaius. So talk to me a little bit about what that was like over 4 seasons. Just the changing of your character each time you have an encounter with Jesus in that role.
Describe my
I,
encounters with Jesus.
well, just not necessarily just in Jesus, but the changing of your character over time. Like, I'm very curious, like emotionally, do you, as an actor, do you connect to this character and do you feel with this character?
Yeah, I mean, hmm. Oh yeah. So many things I want to unpack there, but the first is I had no idea where Gaius was going. We're like you.
Hmm.
We get the scripts for the season, and that's when we find out. Dallas is very secretive, didn't even tell me what's is coming,
Hmm.
So I had no idea that he would end up doing what he's done. I had no clue whatsoever. So I got you align with the writing as you go along. So I took the journey just like you. Season three is like, oh, I'm married. Oh, I've got two boys from two different women. Okay, that's it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I take the journey with the audience in that way. So I
Mm.
didn't know. So that journey has been very much like Gaius. I didn't know back in 2019 where Gaius was going, and I still don't even know what's going to happen. You know, certainly in season seven, the resurrection that we film next year.
Mm.
So I get it in pieces. And yeah, it's been a phenomenal journey, a privilege of a lifetime, honestly. And the thing I want to say, connect with it. Look, as an actor, our job is to take the words that you write and bring them to life as ourselves. In other words,
Mm.
this is my approach. I'm never
Mhm.
trying to become somebody else. It doesn't work unless you
Mhm.
have a mental illness or multiple personality disorder. I've tried, trust me, to become the character. What I do is you have to be yourself
Mhm.
under the imaginary circumstances that you're given. So Kirk is Gaius, Gaius is Kirk. So I bring my sensibilities, my life. I take your words and I make them mean something to Kirk Waller. I will say this,
Mm.
I have to earn the right to be myself, Kirk Waller, under the imaginary circumstances. So
Mm. That's fascinating.
so you're not playing somebody else. You are, if you want to know what Kirk Waller would be like if he lived in the first century, he had to guard a tax booth. The tax booth had this guy named Matthew, and everything you see, guys, that's what you see on screen.
Mhm.
If Kirk Waller was able to, and I know this might sound kind of weird, but if Kirk Waller saw a guy heal people that he knew were, you know, the kid was blind. I knew him, you know what I mean? I saw
Yes.
four in a row, and I think it was season three, episode six. Uh, like if I knew somebody could do something like that,
Mhm.
that's how I would have approached him. Yes, they put the writing. I have to memorize the writing, but my interpretation of that, how I go about it. In other words, simple question. What
Mhm.
would I do if I was in this situation?
Yeah, that's
Not
great.
how am I going to do it, but what would that be like? How do I bring myself to that? So yes, I
Mhm.
totally connect to Gaius's journey. There's so many levels of the character that I completely understand. The really strong, tough, disciplined warrior
Mhm.
combined with a sensitive and good soul. So
Right.
and there's a kindness. I think the thing interesting about Gaius, I brought it up earlier. He's very fair, I
Mhm.
think. And I think Gaius is always trying to do the right thing, even if it goes against edicts. You know, we take a sacramentum with Rome, but he's very fair. So I could go on, but yes, of course. And if you look at it, you know, I've known Jonathan over a decade. That's what you see on screen is Jonathan. Okay. Yes,
Mhm.
he's got a bit of an accent, but he's a great listener. He's got a great soul. He's a gentle soul. You know, when
Mhm.
I first met Paris, you know, he was very sort of quirky and it was, I think it was maybe one of his first big roles. And he has to take a shower every night before he goes to bed. So
Mhm.
like, and you know, Simon Peter, he's just a tough guy. He's part of the Israeli armed forces. These people, Liz with her Tabish as Mary Magdalene, you know, see at her premiere, she's just such a delicate person and so and that's how she is on screen. So what I'm saying is you get hired because of your sensibilities.
Mm. Sure.
So it's a melding of bringing yourself to the imaginary circumstances and the writing. And this is what you end up seeing. That's my approach. But I'm saying all the people that you know, they're basically like that in real life. Their
And
vibe, their
again,
energy, their essence, because you can't get that. I can't get your essence out of you with dynamite. On stage, you
mhm.
can get away with certain stuff, but camera sees it all, man. So it's
it
gonna know
it
if you're like faking it.
it leads right back to the brilliance of the casting, the way that they saw the people and understood because I gotta tell you, like the differences in the disciples, having you, like you with Matthew, your character with Matthew, it is such like we as an audience are really pulling for you. You know, like we are really pulling for you, and we like you're right there, and you're with them. You know, and we know that you've got Rome talking to you in the back of your head, but we also see you dealing with this and loving this the servant son or the son, the other son from the other woman, and seeing that you are really wrestling with that, and we are pulling for you. You know, and then the scene that breaks my heart that I love to go back and watch was whenever Jesus sees the olives being, crushed
Yeah.
and the oil coming out and he's feeling it, and Gaius comes up and you hug. That is such a touching scene to me. And wow, wow. You guys, that like Oscar. Serious. I mean, I know it's
Oh,
not, but listen,
wow. Thank you.
for us, especially for me, who I'm very sincere about my faith, but I want people in our world like this is about decency and caring about others and being there for
Totally.
'em. You guys are really putting out some incredibly positive messages,
Yes, sir.
and we want people to know that, yes, you can be complex, yes, you can have issues, but that you can be loved. You can, and people can actually care. And our world is pretty uncaring sometimes, you know?
Kindness and decent. I tell my son all the time, please, thank you, and I'm sorry. Those three words will take you a long way in life. And
Yes.
I always do my best to get up every day to be of service to others and to put the needs of others before my own. I really try to do that. Don't always succeed, of course, but yeah, that Jonathan, and you try to bring that sensibility to a scene like that
Hmm.
and giving as Gaius, I'm just so grateful. I really didn't get a chance to privately thank him after I knew that he healed my son, and I
Right.
go looking for him because I want to say thank you. And so, yeah, it was just so beautifully written. I remember when I read that same thing. Like I read episode 4, and I'm like, I was reading episode 3 of season 4, and I say no to Quintus, not arrest him. I go, that's it. I'm off the show. I'll be in jail the rest of the You'll never
Right.
hear from Gaius again. Imagine my
Hmm.
surprise when I sat down and started reading episode 4, because the
Yeah,
first scene I become Praetor. I'm like, what? Like, there's
exactly.
no way. There's no way I'm going to fill Quintus's shoes. I'm completely different, but I think that's kind of the point.
It
But
is. It
then you
certainly
read,
is.
yeah, and you read these scenes, and credit to Elijah. He says that in that scene, he has the only dialogue, and he says, Festina lente. And that
Hmm.
was his idea because he kind of gives me the necklace.
Yes.
And festina lente in Latin means hasten slowly.
Interesting.
So that's part of the reason he wanted me to become praetor or help make that happen is hasten slowly. Don't be quick to react, which I thought was
Wow.
such a beautiful touch to that scene.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a trip. So the hugs, and then reading all the scenes as I went along, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my god! And now I'm hugging Jesus. I couldn't believe it. I was, wow, what a
Yeah.
blessing, like it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, it really does. And because we wept, we did. We wept because, especially those of us who know the scriptures and know where this is heading. And most people know the story of Jesus, but for all of us, that spend a lot of time, talking about this and to see Jonathan feel the weight of
Mm,
that press, you could feel the weight with him.
yeah,
And then for you to come and comfort him was such a Oscar. Sorry, Oscar. Well, not Oscar, Emmy. I guess Emmy for a television show, right? But it really is one of the most beautiful scenes on television. I loved it.
yeah. Dallas said later something I didn't even think about it, and he was like, it was the lion and the lamb moment.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't you tell me that when we were shooting it? No, it was great. Yeah, obviously we brought our interpretation and love to the scene, but yeah, extraordinary. And look,
Yeah,
man, you're rooting for Gaius. Like, I don't write this. That's
right.
Dallas, that's Tyler, that's Ryan. That
Hmm.
the genius is in the writing. I just
Yes.
embody. I say what they tell me to say, so
Hmm.
that you're rooting for Gaius. All the credit goes to the three fine gentlemen that write this and the
Sure. I
whole
mean,
all of that. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. And I would agree with you, but I also have to say you, like you said, your job is to bring those words to life.
yes, sir.
And kudos to you. You did a
Thank
fantastic
you.
job. You really did. You saw we are
Thank you.
still pulling for you.
Yeah, it's really going to be. I don't even know. I
I
don't
know.
know. I just don't know. I don't really have any spoilers because I have no idea.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I'm really really going to be really interesting to see what happens in season 7 and what Gaius is up to because the disciples are on the run, you know?
Yes.
So how is that going to be managed? What part will Gaius have in that? I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I am too. And I know we are all obviously season 5 is out on Amazon Prime. All of the seasons are actually out on
Yeah,
Amazon Prime, which I thought was fantastic that Amazon Prime got involved, and which I
crazy.
think like yes, that's so great. And the Come and See Foundation and everything that's happening with all of these other series, I'm so
It's
happy
crazy.
and thankful for this. So let's do this. I only have about 10 or 15 minutes left with you, and I'd really like to know about actor class, and I would like to
Oh,
know about the Waller technique and what you're doing in your other than your acting like career, but you're also a teacher. You're an educator.
yes, sir. Thank you for asking. I'll make it brief because I want it to be more about the chosen
Sure.
and Gaius and so forth. But the quick backstory is, yeah, 5 years ago I had this idea of, as an actor, you don't work every day. So
Hmm.
I have all these friends, I have these myself included, classically trained, they have master's degree. And my idea was to hook online acting classes. No one was doing this. I came up with this idea in 2019,
Hmm.
online acting classes. No one was doing it. I saw one guy maybe doing it. And so, because what's the genius of Bezos is like there's been people that have made stuff and bought stuff forever. He just
Yes.
mastered fulfillment. He got it
Hmm.
to my door in 2 days.
Right.
That's the genius of Bezos. And then, like Uber, people need a ride to the airport, people give you a ride. He just made an app. And so
Yes.
I was like, okay, wonderfully trained actors and people who want to be, I'm going to hook them up and have a platform called Actor Class, just like Bezos and the guys there with Uber. So I started it 2019. I built it, and then in 2020 I opened the doors January, and 2 months later COVID
I
hit,
know.
and
Wow.
every acting teacher on planet Earth was now teaching
Online.
online.
Yes.
There went my innovative idea. But anyway, so out the window. Uh, but the benefit of that is I think it made it more acceptable because now
Hmm.
everyone was doing it on a multitude of levels. So yeah, so what I do is I have a once a month group mentorship where I'll have a guest mentor. I've had
Hmm.
Elijah, I've had Brandon, I've had our first aid, Mitch the second AD, and Adam first AD. I like people from The Chosen, and then writers and directors, Ghost Whisperer creator John,
Hmm.
who I've worked with many times. And it's a once a month. We get together. It's a whopping $15, and I interview the guest mentor for an hour, and then we open it up to a Q&A. And I've had numerous casting directors, including Beverly Holloway, that cast The Chosen.
Hmm.
And so that's one thing I do. And then the other thing I do is, yes, I train actors worldwide and I pass along a craft of acting, a
Hmm.
technique, because you will go nowhere without a technique. You
Right.
have to have a technique. You're not going to get lucky. It just doesn't work. You don't end up at Wimbledon because you're lucky. You
That's
know,
right.
you don't end up in the Super Bowl because you're lucky. You don't end up being a brain surgeon because you're lucky, or like you got to work at it. And the craft of
Hmm.
acting is elusive because the good actors make it look like, oh yeah, I'm just guys just talking and hanging out. Yeah, but do that
Hmm.
in front of 300 people when somebody says now.
Right.
That's a different ball of wax to be able to do that. So yes, so I mentor in one-on-ones or two-on-one situations, and I pass along a craft in about 30 sessions. And then they have
Hmm.
a technique, and then you got to get up every day and perfect that. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I'm blessed to do that. I'm doing like 3 to 4 mentorships every day, 5 days a week. It's been a slow build since 2020, and I love it. I never thought I would do it though, because I was always taught, you probably heard this, it's lame, but those that can't teach and those that can't teach, they administrate. So I never thought I would teach because I would be like admitting I can't do the thing, but I love it. And so
Hmm.
it's great and it's working. My students are working. I didn't know like if it would, how would this work? Dallas made a
Hmm.
post. I was having like 3 or 4 people visit the website. Suddenly 700 came 3 days in a row, and I got 2 students. I didn't want to mentor. I was going to hook them up, and they go, "No, I want to train with you." And I go, "Well, I'm not training." So they said, "Well, think about it." So I did, and I started, and I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Second to the craft of acting, there's nothing better.
Yeah, and I'll do a little tagline and take us back to where we first started. I mean, when you were a little boy, you got the bug and you spent the rest of your life doing that. And so there's some of us that out in the world that want to know, like yeah, we're interested. We want to learn. And for somebody of your caliber, and I'm not just puffing you up. I mean, you've got a long storied career. You've done a lot of work. To have somebody of your caliber sit down and say, this is not luck. This is work, and here's how you do the work. That's critical. I think it's great that you do it.
Yeah. And the Waller technique, is pretentious as that sound. A buddy of mine, sorry, name drop, not name drop, but he's a multimillionaire. He's like a marketing guru kind of guy. And he's like, you got to call it something. And he says, when I started teaching, and he said, how about the Waller technique? I'm like, dude, do you know how pretentious that sounds? And it's like, give me a break. But my technique is a combination of two of my mentors, great mentors, and something I brought to it. But it's Sanford Meisner,
Hmm.
which is learning to be present and work off of your behavior in this now present moment. That's
Yes.
part of it. The other part of, call it a triangle, is 12 tools, basically
Hmm.
questions that you ask yourself for everything you do. That came from Alan Vint. And then I have this sequential roadmap, which is before I get to set, I've gone through that scene hundreds and hundreds of times because you don't get to rehearse when you get to set.
Hmm.
You just do a blocking rehearsal and then you shoot it. So I've mentally gone through the scene hundreds and hundreds of times before I get there. And that's the sequential roadmap. It's like a drive. It's like there's the 3 lines and there's a beat and then it goes this way. And that's what
Right.
I pass along to my students. And yeah, it's effective. They're working and couldn't be more proud of them. In fact, I have a couple now on The Chosen, which is amazing.
Yes, I
Uh,
saw that on the website. I was like, check it out. These guys are on The Chosen too. That's awesome.
yeah, and they that wasn't handed to them. They earned it.
Right.
Dallas didn't just doesn't hand out roles. So I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of all of them and so blessed that I could be a part of their journey.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic that you're willing to do that. I don't think it's pretentious, just so you know, just somebody on the I think that your friend was right by giving it a name. It's no different than saying that you were studying under Meisner. People know Meisner, they know what he
Yeah.
teaches. Waller, you're
Thank you.
awesome. You
Thank
really
you.
are.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
very humbling.
I
Yeah.
appreciate your humility. I do, but you've earned it for sure. And I want you to know just from the bottom of my heart, my wife, all of our friends, we appreciate so much what you are doing in The Chosen and your hard work and all of the cast and all of the crew. I hope they know that people's lives are in fact being changed. And any of the negativity that some people have said, oh, it's not exactly like the Bible. I welcome the liberties that they've taken to really flesh out these characters. And I mean flesh out as in humanity,
Yeah.
that they're living and doing things like we are, but they're encountering, this incredible man that is there to help them, and that's why he's here. That's why he's here to help,
Yeah.
to get us
Amen.
to the Father.
Amen. And it takes a whole army, a whole team, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
no one can do this alone. Great writing, great direction, great production design, great costumes, great DP, the visuals, great music,
Yes.
Dan and Matt, and like great editing. There's so many great, like, sound effects. Like when I walk in that armor, on the screen it goes swing, little bit of a swing. It doesn't do that in real life, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So there's so many elements, and the crew is extraordinary. You probably hear actors say that all the time, but look, I don't work every day 12
Mhm.
hours a day. It's intermittent. Those people, 86 days of filming for season 6.
Wow.
86 days.
That's something.
86 days, 12-hour days to make
Mhm.
8 hours of content. These people work hard, and they're lovely, good, decent human beings, and it's really great. I know that sounds all altruistic, but it's really cool. There's just a lot
Yes.
of love and respect on the set, and it's extraordinary.
So I
So,
have to ask you,
can you still
are
see me? Okay, I'm losing
yeah,
my
I can
light.
see you great. I can see you
Should I
great.
turn on some lights?
No, you look great.
Okay.
We've only got a couple more minutes. You look great. So
Okay.
just I'm very curious. And maybe this would be a spoiler, I don't know, but are we going to get to see Gaius in season 6?
I mean,
You can't
they
say,
make
can
us
you?
sign these
Okay,
NDAs.
okay. I can't ask. Sorry, guys. I can't let you know if
No,
Gaius
it
is in
doesn't hurt
season
to
6.
ask, because if you don't ask, the answer's always no, right? But yeah, I want to be
Yeah, I
respectful
understand.
to,
Absolutely, I
it's
understand.
like, and I also think there's something cool about, yeah, letting it unfold.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
the same way when I read it, I have no idea what's going to happen. So if I were going to the cinema, I don't want to know anything. Let it happen. I wouldn't want spoilers.
That's right. Well, let's just remember Jesus said you have not because you ask not. So I so I asked the question and I got the not, but that's good. Yeah. Kirk B.R. Waller, thank you so much for taking the time out just to spend some time with me and talk about your craft, talk about The Chosen and Agent Gene Crane, the X-Files and everything. But it really means a lot to me that you took this time out. Thank you.
Really, thank you. What an honor and a blessing to be here. Thank you. You're such a good listener. I feel like I talk too much, but you're such a good
Oh, that's
listener and ask such great questions. So thank
uh,
you.
yeah, that's the beauty of being an interviewer is that I don't have to talk. I get to listen. I love that.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
usually pretty quiet, and unless you know me, but thank you. I'm usually kind of quiet that way, but thank you. I prattled on probably too much, but thank you so much for your support of The Chosen from the very beginning, for
yes.
blessing me with such an extraordinary opportunity to share more goodness. And thank you
Yeah.
for what you're doing with your podcast and the people that you're bringing together, and the love, the decency, the kindness, and the respect. We need more of that in the world. So thank you for your part in doing all of that. Blessings to
Thank
you, sir.
you.
Thank you.
That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. Thank you. And I just want to
Cheers.
encourage you, just keep on trucking. It's been great. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks.
If
Yeah,
you
I
would,
know.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. If you
No,
would,
no,
please hold. I'm going to end our recording, but I'd like for you to stay on and just say a proper
absolutely.
goodbye. All
Yes,
right, but
sir.
thank you for being on the show. It means a lot to me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.